Hey, before I get into this video, I know I don't normally come on before videos on a one-on-one type of fashion. Well, I really just wanted to say it would truly mean it a lot if you would fuel the algorithm type of thing. With it, I really hate saying this, but please subscribe. My end of the year goal for my YouTube channel is to get 50 subs. And seeing as we're in December, we're starting to creep up on the New Year's, so what better way to try and push for my goal than at the beginning of the month right before it, because procrastination. Either or, enjoy y'all.
Good morning, afternoon, evening, whenever you're saying this. I wanted to give an update to my Halsin deck. With this, I have been in the lab, being a mad lad like usual, and I decided to create 5-color monocolor, which might have you scratching your head a little bit, but it all makes sense whenever I tell you this little bit. Halsin, Emerald Archdruid, turns any type of token into a 4/4 bear, in addition to its other abilities and types. My very first rendition, and whenever I first started making this deck, it was my Cloakwood Hermit version, which this is a good card whenever a creature spell is put into the graveyard, Cloakwood Hermit is the card I initially started building for the background. Commanders have at the beginning of your end step, if a creature card was put into your graveyard this turn, you may create 2 1/1 tapped green squirrel tokens, which is really good. Now that we have our green section out of the way, let's go with the other colors in the pie's order. With this is technically an illegal deck, but in the same sense, it can be made a legal deck through one modular switch being the background. First up is Inspiring Leader, which makes our tokens that we turn into 4/4s actually 6/6s. We make a lot of treasures, foods, and clues with this deck, so this is why I ended up choosing these other backgrounds to fill out the other backgrounds for the monocolor 5-color. As stated before, this is an illegal deck, but it can be made legal by switching whichever background you want. For blue, it is Clan-Crafter. Pay 2, sack an artifact, put a +1/+1 counter on this creature, and draw a card. Like stated, a lot of food, treasure, and clue tokens, so if we run a little bit shop, our black background, Agent of the Iron Throne, when an artifact or a creature I control is put into a graveyard from the battlefield, each opponent loses 1 life. Once again, we're using a lot of food, clue, and treasure tokens, so this has just a minor drain effect. And Popular Entertainer. Whenever 1 or more creatures I control deals combat damage to a player, go to target creature that player controls. It's just a little bit of more in the sense of creature spot removal, quote unquote, and then it does maintain goad. Starting this deck list out, there are a total of 35 lands, 30 of which are just basic forest. We are playing mono green at all, so we need all the forest we can get. First land is Evolving Wilds, don't gotta explain it. Gargoyle's Castle creates a gargoyle token with flying. Gingerbread Cabin creates a food token whenever it enters the battlefield untapped, which it enters untapped if I have 3 or more forests. Jungle Basin, it is the mono green bounce land, and we can use this on Gingerbread Forest because it does say untapped forest I control. Gingerbread Cabin is a forest. Another card that gives us another token, Colony Garden, creates a 0/1 plant token. Very simple enough. The deck, I am going in ascending CMC order. So starting out, Ophia Pashiri, it's a 1-drop and it creates tokens. That's all we need really for this. Rift Sower, it is a 1-drop mana dork. We are waiting a couple turns, but that really doesn't matter, especially whenever we can use it for any of our colors, which really the only way we have to get our backgrounds out besides Rift Sower are treasure. And hold on, are these all? Yeah, they're all 1-drops, so the other alternative is spoilers for later, Prismatic Lens. The 2-drops include Kuzandu Tuskcaller, which is a level up and puts tokens on the battlefield for the level. 2/3/5 is 1, 6+ is 2/3/3 elephants. Marching Duodro, whenever it attacks each player, creates a treasure token. Works well with our deck, and we really only need that first treasure to get any of our backgrounds out. Academy Manufacturer, simple enough, it turns 1 into 3. Tireless Provisioner creates a treasure or a food on 1 landfall. Tracker investigates, creates a clue. All 3 of these plus Academy Manufacturer 1 landfall equals 6 tokens. Scute Swarm, if we have 6 plus lands, we create a copy of Scute Swarm instead of an insect token. This thing starts to double whenever we start playing multiple lands. Well, they're also tokens, so we can also bump them up with Halsin. J-Row makes all of our tokens tap for green, so we don't have to sack them, and increases our mana shit ton. Karamech's Acolyte adds green for Devotion of Green. Next up, Golden Guardian. May seem a little bit off, but main reason we run this is for the alternative side. Add a mana rock of any one color, gets us all of our backgrounds, and also creates 4/4 tokens if we need it. More than likely you're going to be just using the lands section of it to add any of color. Glittermonger. Tap, create a treasure token. Very simple. Beast Whisper. Cast a creature spell, draw a card. Seaborn Muse allows us to play Halsin's activated ability every turn. Oron Frostfang draws us cards. Along with that, it gives attacking creatures I control Death Touch. Halsin doesn't care about if we have keywords or not, because he'll retain them. Coldwith the Forge Master. Very simple enough. Like stated before, create a lot of treasures, foods, and clues. So let's just go search out an Academy Manufacturer and on top of Mycolith. Devour 2. Sack any number of creatures at the beginning of upkeep, create a green Saproling token for each +1/+1 counter on this, which if you sacrifice 4 creatures at the beginning of your next upkeep, you'll create 8 Saprolings. Thopter Assembly. It creates Thopters with flying tokens. There's a couple other things that can actually pseudo loop this. One of my personal favorite cards and one of my personal favorite pet cards, Aggressive Mammoth. Trample. Other creatures have trample. For being 6 mana, it is a little bit of a commitment, but we're in mono green, so it doesn't fucking matter. Plus, Halsin doesn't care about if we have keywords or not. Mere Battlesphere. It creates 4 tokens. Avenger of Zendikar. Creates a shit ton of plant tokens. Game Ender, Heart of Crows up. It's overrun on a stick. There's no way getting around it. For my Planeswalkers, I have Nissa, which creates a token, puts a +1/+1 counter, gains life, and draws cards. Garruk untaps lands for more Halsin activations or letting us play more spells. Creates a token or overruns. Freylease, token, spot removal, draw cards, all things we like. The other Garruk, token, draw, tokens, which the ultimate tokens are 6/6 for each land I control, which is nice, but once again, create a 3/3, draw cards. Nissa shakes the world. I don't know what the abilities do it. I literally just play it for the passive. We're playing mono green. We want as much mana as we can get. Sorceries. First up, Search for Tomorrow. It is a sorcery version of Rift Sower. Timing for it, really. Regrowth. Return something to hand. This is one of the very few things we have of recursion. Harvest Season gets us a lot of lands out of our deck. Phology, Excavation. It creates 3 tap powered stone tokens, gain 3 life. The life gain is nice. This might be quote unquote draft shaft type of card, but it creates us tokens. That's all that matters, and it ramps us. Grow from the Ashes. Go search 2 basic lands, put them on the battlefield. They are not tapped, so you can activate it. There's not, in all of my time of playing Magic, there hasn't been a single time where I've casted Grow from the Ashes for the 3 costs. Primal Command. The modes I use for this are target player gains 7 life and tutor a creature. For the artifact, two of the newest things I ended up putting in the deck are Instrument of the Bards and Prying Blade. Instrument of the Bards, at the beginning of upkeep, put a Harmony counter on Instrument of the Bards, and then it allows me to tutor with CMC less than Harmony counters it has on it. Then if I reveal a legendary card, I create a treasure token and shuffle library. Prying Blade, whenever deal combat damage, create a treasure token. Renegade Mat, search for a basic land. Retrofender Foundry allows us to create servos and thopters. I'm almost never using it for constructs. Soul Ring, it's pretty obvious, 1 drop for 2. Wayfarer's Bauble, search for a basic land. Witch's Oven, download one of the best cards in the deck. Pay 1, play Witch's Oven. If I have Halsin on field, turn a token into a 4/4, tap the Witch's Oven, create a food token. Since it has toughness greater than 4, I create 2 food tokens, which literally doubles the amount of tokens I have. The 2-drop artifacts include Howling Mind draws an additional card, Idol of Oblivion draws us a card, Prismatic Lens, the thing that could actually get us into the other backgrounds, Heraldic Banner gives our bears +1/+0, Scepter of Celebration creates tokens, gives +2 and 0 in trample, Skyclave Reaver creates tokens whenever it's kicked, And then they also have Indestructible. Replicating Ring. It can create 8 replicating rings. Croc Clan Ironworks. We have a shit ton of artifacts. Tempting Contract. Creates treasures. And then for opponents who create treasures, we also create one. Trading Post. One of the most toolboxy cards in this deck. Gain life, put tokens on the battlefield, reoccur stuff, and draw. Bootlegger Stash. Lands turn into treasures. Gonti's Aetherheart. Because of how many artifacts we have, we can consistently take a couple of extra turns. That rounds out the artifacts. And then to the enchantments, Awakening Zone creates a Eldrazi spawn. Colossal Majesty. In response to this trigger, I can use Halsin to get an additional card per turn. Eldrazi Conscription. One of the funniest cards I can ever imagine, honestly. It is haha go burr. +10/+10 Annihilator too. Evolutionary Leap. Sack a creature, reveal all cards from the top of the library. Basically use one to create a token, and then use an additional green to sack said token that's a creature, and then put a creature card from our deck into our hand. From Beyond creates a 1/1 Scion, and then can tutor out Eldrazi Conscription. Howling Moon gives wolves and werewolves each create mana, idle mana for the few situations that does come up. Druid's Deliverance, it's a fog and gives us an additional token. Let's double all of our tokens on an instant. Verdant Command. The two I use the most are Gain and 2 tap green squirrel tokens.